Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of this, is people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head. No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies. And stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Welcome to Talkin Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I've got Mr. Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Green Bean, how are you doing tonight?
You sound a little jazzy, man. Like you're a smooth jazz guy tonight, Ryan. I like it. It's pretty good. You're like, hello, everybody. Welcome to the smooth sounds. I don't know, man. I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna choose to believe.
I like it.
I'm in a believing mood, dude. I'm gonna go to the darkest place in my mind and find belief, and go from there. I'm happy to be here.
O'Leary, how you feeling tonight?
Not great. Not the best, to be honest with you. I watched both. So obviously Jets and Mets fan. And so I watched the Mets season literally come to an end. And then 10 minutes later, figuratively, the Jets season did. There was a good, no exaggeration, an hour and a half where I just did not say anything and was just watching my TV with my hood up, like just slumped on the couch in the worst state possible. I don't know if you saw my post-game video, but that was about as down bad as I've ever been about this team. Not in a good spot.
We have a poll question in the chat right now that I feel like is perfect. What did Jets fans do to deserve this? You could vote on existing, did something in a past life, or we are suckers. I think all of them could apply to every one of us. Can you tell the mood is maybe dragged a little bit down on the Talkin Jets panel tonight? Boys and girls, if you'll hit that like button for us, if you're equally as frustrated with this damn team as we are, we'll be here through the 10 o'clock hour, or 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We'll be done at 10 o'clock. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a qualifier to be a recipient of a hat, shirt, t-shirt, mug, pillow, jersey. I didn't update the wheel, but we're going to call maybe we'll call the pillows a jersey or something this week. Doing a little DH gate action. Kind of fun.
You know what? Now that we've made the bigger one a jersey, is the little slice still there?
We can leave the slice still there. Or why? Did you want to do the slice of something else?
Well, tonight will be the slice. Now that we made jersey into something else, we'll finally get the slice tonight. You'll see.
Classic.
That's how it's 100% how it's going to go. The Meadowland Swamp Thing says, how do they keep getting away with serving us this 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢? Yeah, look, I just keep buying it. You know, it's like when you go to your favorite restaurant and they're like, hey, yeah, you want some food poisoning? I'm like, yeah, man, throw it in a to-go bag too. And then it just keeps happening, and I just can't figure it out.
You know what it is? It's, like, I don't do this anymore because I physically can't because of the celiac disease. But in my past life, like twice a year, I would get White Castle. And after every time, I would go, why did I just do that? And this is...
Just eat a whole crave case.
Yeah. This is... Being a Jets fan is like going to White Castle the 2 times a year, and you get absolutely horrifically sick that night, and you say, I am never getting White Castle again. And then in about 5 months, you're like, you know what I'm really jonesing for? Those little damn burgers. And then you go and get more White Castle, and then you're sick again, and the cycle repeats.
Yeah, it's wash, rinse, repeat.
I'm like that with Checkers. Like it's funny.
Another classic.
They built the Checkers here, right? Like in my closest area over here. And my son's like, oh, they're built into Checkers. I said, oh, man, every time I eat Checkers, I get violently ill. Dude, 2 days after it opened, I said, let's go. Let's go to Checkers. I was halfway through, and I was like, oh, I was serious. Like, dude, here it comes. I was miserable all night long. And I go back. The only difference is that it's like Matt going to White Castle for 17 straight weeks. Yeah. That's what it is. Fucking brutal.
This team is the embodiment of ouch diarrhea. Really not fun. Not fun here in Jetland right now. And this season just hurts more. I guess I don't know if it hurts more. Is the pain hurt more this year or last year? Like last year we were all hyped up and you lose Rodgers week 1. And it's all that, oh, well, we could have been great. Now we're seeing like a whole season of Rodgers being here, and we've got more weapons, and we have what we thought was probably going to be a more confident team, although we're seeing the cracks in the defense with all the injuries and the lack of depth on the defensive line. And this Rodgers is still healthy. Rodgers is here, and the season quite possibly is now over for the New York Jets. Jets are likely going to have to go 8-2 the rest of the way out. You're going to have to get to that 10-win mark. There's a small shot you get in with 9 wins, but based on how the AFC is shaping up and the games remaining for the Jets, I don't know how likely it is. When I look at our schedule, I was talking with Tigo about this yesterday. I can see where the Jets can win 8 games. I can see where the Jets can also lose like 5 of these games. Like Tua coming back from Miami, that's not a given win. Either of those games. Buffalo, not a given win when they get Von Miller and James Cook back. You have the Rams. Now, maybe they wind up trading Stafford away, and that game becomes a little bit easier to swallow. Then you also got the Seahawks. Like, you can only drop 2 of these games left, and it just feels like a very tall task here heading into the middle point of the season. So, Green Bean, I want to hear your thoughts first about the game, maybe the state of the Jets, how you're kind of feeling. What's your vibe?
Well, we were dominating them. You know what I mean? Like, it looked like a game. Didn't it, though? You guys were watching it. It looked like a game.
Minute and a half left in the first half. So
it looked like we were going to get points, field goal minimum. We're moving the ball at will. And it looked like we were going to go in like, let's say we scored a touchdown. I think that would have brought it to 22-6, getting the ball in the third quarter. It was starting to feel almost relaxed. We figured out the Washington screen pad, the screen thing that they had, Darnell Washington. And it was like, okay, like we're, this is good. Like, we look good. One play, one interception, which was a weird one because Aaron Rodgers kind of looked
double clutched it.
Scared, looked unsure of himself. And they never came back, dude. And we watched them quit. And it was very much one of those games where, like, it just felt very long. And we get to watch the other team laugh and party. And you know what I mean? And I just hate those games. Those are the worst kind. I've seen more of those than I have good games, sadly, sad to say. But here's the thing. Yes, this was a blowout. But I think that, look, the horses are still here. Like, I just choose not to, like, get everybody's still here. Everybody's still, like, we have so much talent on this team. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if they just have to, like, get the coaching shit. Like, just don't listen to the coaches. And we'll just, like, as a team, kind of rally and do the whole thing. Because we can do it. We've shown it in numerous games. Like, we can hang with every team that we played. Except, you can take the Niners game and say whatever. But other than that, like, we hung with every team. And it's like they can just turn it on at any time. The horses are here. They just haven't started running yet. So until we're mathematically eliminated, I'm going to choose to believe. Like you said, it's really, I think it's, what, we got 5. Really, yeah, we got 2 more losses we can have. In 10 games. So it's going to be a toughie, right? But why not? Why not? So I'm in. I think everybody's still here. You realize, like, holy shit, man, we're letting this slip away. And you just get pissed off and you play it and you win. And that's how it goes. It all starts with this one in New England. And we just got to get past them. If we don't beat them, I'm going to switch gears and just hope we lose every game.
At the risk of getting a copyright strike here, I'm a believer. I could leave her if I tried.
Now we're demonetized. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
See?
Yeah.
Boom. Matt, how you feeling? I know we kind of got some of your thoughts, but overall, just on the game and the Jets season and where we're headed right now.
So I said this in the post game, but I'm going to tell a little story here on something that actually happened. So you guys know my fiance Taylor very well. She comes to the game. She's She's doing fantasy football this year. So like she is in. And while we were watching the game together and the Jets have the ball and they are driving with 2 minutes left before the half, like, well, I'm explaining, like Taylor, like they are up 9 points right now and they're in a great spot because if they go down and kick a field goal, now it's a 12-point lead, or dare I say, score a touchdown. Now you're up 16 and you get a chance to double dip because you get the ball to start. And it was like, the third quarter, I'm like, you could put this game away. The words "put this game away" barely leave the tip of my tongue as I'm speaking here, and Aaron Rodgers throws a pick, and I just go, "Oh no!" He's like, "Well, like you're still up 9 points." I'm like, no. I'm like, this is bad. This is a momentum shifter. And then they go down and score, and you're up 2 at the half. He's like, I don't like why are you upset? Like they're still winning. I'm like, yes, but that play just changed everything. And then they scored 31 unanswered points, 31-0 after that play. And essentially 32 minutes of game time, Pittsburgh puts up 31 points. I've never seen a team quit like that. Like I've seen teams come out flat and just not have it the whole game. Good example of that is against Miami last year down in Miami, or against Seattle 2 games 2 years ago. Both games they absolutely needed to have, and they came out flat, which was really frustrating. And then in this game, they looked good. Dare I say they looked good. They had that one drive at the beginning where they marched right down the field. They held them to a field goal though, so I felt a little bit better about that. And then they just quit. I really feel like this team, and like it's going to sound so harsh, and I hate to say this because there's a lot of players on this team that I genuinely like a lot, and they're people that are easy to root for. They just feel so soft and mentally weak. At the first sign of adversity, it's like, oh, here we go again. And they just fold. And that the scary part is I have no idea how that gets fixed. Not a single clue. You could change the coach. You can go from Robert Saleh to Jeff Ulbrich, and I don't know if it matters. And you would think that a veteran like Rodgers, who's been through the weeds before, has had seasons where the Packers start 4-6 and rattle off like 6 wins in a row to make the playoffs. He should be the one who like stabilizes things, you would hope, but even that isn't working now. So I don't have an answer. I don't know what they do to fix this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. This one hurts because it feels like I just don't have any answers, and the future looks potentially very bleak. Like my head starts jumping to like, well, what's gonna happen? Like, what are we gonna do? Like Green Bean said, as long as we have a shot, we got to pull for it. I think you have all the horses in the stable to have a really good season. And it's not like I want to see, with 2 games left before the trade deadline, the Jets start like selling players left and right. Now, if you want to move on from Mike Williams, that's totally fine. But really other players I'd prefer to hold on to and try to get as much as you can, because if you give up on the season halfway through, then, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, moving forward too, in the event that you want to have some kind of spark to either end the season or move into next year. And to your point, Matt, this team feels very... I wouldn't have thought I'd see this team quit with the characters that we have brought in, the captains from their college team, this like mindset that we tried to draft and bring in as free agents, and it feels like we have a team full of popular names, but we don't actually have a team.
Yep.
Like they don't know how to play together, they don't know how to fight together, and it just feels incredibly frustrating. And there's going to be all sorts of rumors that pop up. I think a lot of our 2025 season is going to ride on, does Rodgers want to continue playing? Then you start going down the spiral of, okay, well, who's the head coach? Who's the GM? Like, what winds up happening here? And I don't really have a good answer for any of that right now. It's sort of a wait and see. I know I saw someone make a joke like, oh, we're going to start doing mock drafts right now. I'm not doing a mock draft until we are mathematically eliminated. I shouldn't even say mock draft. It would probably be more of a mock off season just to like wrap my head around stuff. But like you would have to be mathematically eliminated, which still should be November. We're not going to get mathematically eliminated like in the next 4 weeks. It would have to be like, after Thanksgiving.
We could.
I think from a statistical standpoint, we could be like a 1% chance to make the playoffs, and that, all intents and purposes, makes you an eliminated team. But like officially, like, hey, you can't get to that 7th seed no matter what any other team does, and no matter what you do. You could win out, they could lose out. Like, that's trying to get to that point. Yeah, I don't have an answer. The only thing I could think to do is to try and trade for like a defensive lineman, like a Quentin Jefferson or something like that. Something that might shore up the interior part of this defensive line, because I don't think it's worth it to try and go after any other big fish. I don't think it's going to matter in any capacity if you can't like do anything on defense. Green Bean, any thoughts?
I'll tell you how you fix it. I don't know if they can go any more in. Like this close to the wire, it's like when you're standing on the cliff. You know, are you like, throw another bag on? You know what I mean? Like, you just, you know, at this point, you got to go, let me see if I don't fall off the cliff before I start carrying anybody else's shit. You know what I mean? Like, but here's how you fix it, man. In a game when Tyron Smith is whiffing on blocks, straight up whiffing, you pull him. When Gibson is just doing nothing, complete dick burgers, and like Isaiah Davis comes up and lays this crushing block right in front of him, and then he just fucking runs into the next guy. Doesn't get an extra yard after like a block that I went, yeah. Oh, like, you know, the guy does nothing. So you just say, you're sitting down, you're fucking benched, you're back to practice squad level. Malachi Corley's coming in, bring some juice. And I don't care that Aaron Rodgers, with whatever respect he deserves, he doesn't like playing with rookie linemen. I don't give a fuck about what you like anymore. Tyron Smith is toast, and you just put Olu Fashanu in there. I know we can say that Olu Fashanu didn't play well in the right. That's not his natural side. And I mean, can he be any worse, really? I mean, yes, technically speaking, and we know that, but he's a good ball player. He's a damn good ball player. And you put him out there, and you at least make the statement. Like, hey, dude, we didn't pull anybody in the accountability to accountability. Where does it? When? What is it? Does anybody know what accountability is, looks like, how to do it? We know how to say it. Tired of hearing the same shit. Yeah, Jeff Ulbricht's saying different stuff. That's great. This isn't Did you hear the question? I believe it was from Connor Hughes. And really, I mean, it was great. He started it with, he said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
All due respect.
But you keep saying that this is not who we are. This is not who we are. This is not 1 game or 2 games. It's 7 games of the exact same problems. At what point do you just acknowledge this is who we are? Fucking great question, man.
Question,
yeah. Spot on. That like is exactly how all Jet fans are feeling after watching that game. Like, there's a lot of how many fans have you guys had in your DMs that are just like, we did better with Zach Wilson last year? Like, this is absurd.
I know. The fucking Zacksters are back.
Kills me. Absolutely kills me. Matt, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned DMs or just like messages. The number of messages that I got were like, man, like, I can't do this anymore. And like, that's really the saddest thing to me. I think this team and that loss really broke a lot of people. So Ryan, you were saying last year, like, I don't know what was worse, losing Rodgers or this. I think it's this. I honestly think it's this, which is insane to say, because last year of how upset we were, and it felt like a season was ripped away from us 4 plays into it. And somehow, some way, it got worse in a year because the team still sucks with all these big names. There's talent. There's clearly talent on this roster, but for whatever reason, they can't put it all together. I don't know why. I wish I had an answer, but they don't play as a football team. And it's the most frustrating thing to watch week in and week out. And they're losing fans. Oh, but good news, by the way. Good news. Invoices went out for 2025 season tickets this week. So
dude, that was that. Well, at the second they trade for Devontae, they immediately start pushing the season ticket sales. And then it's like, dude, I had so many people reach out that were like, yo, this is the first time in my adult life that I scheduled something else during the Jet game. Like, people not going to sit and watch a 1 p.m. game with Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback, Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson as our wide receivers, Brees and Braylon as our running backs. Like, unreal. Jace comes in. Jace says, in Ryan's words, we're hanging our heads. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, like, just, like, slumped over. I just feel beat up and depressed. Britt
Can I
comes
just
in.
tell you, right, Ryan, on that note, I'm sorry, but I just, on your sadness, somber, hanging your head, can I tell you the saddest thing ever?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, here it is. I'm going to tell you guys the saddest thing ever. So, as you guys may or may not know, our good buddy and diehard Jets fan for 40 plus years, Q-Tip, got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this weekend. Okay, it was an amazing ceremony. It was tears. Dave Chappelle did the induction speech. It was fucking beautiful, man. And I get a text from him the next day. Like, we talked the next day, and he's like, it's amazing. And he's so, the next day he texts me, I can't watch. I cannot do this anymore. So like we couldn't even give him the weekend. Like, he was up here on top of the world. And then I get a text, I can't do this anymore. Like, I cannot allow them in. I cannot allow them to taint any positives in my life. And I say, yeah, I did. If I didn't have these fucking live streams, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that the saddest?
It is. And you wonder why the Jet fan base, as rabid as we are, is relatively small, comparatively speaking, to like the Giants. The Giants haven't had a whole crazy ton of success, but over the last 40 years, they got 4 Super Bowls. They got a whole lot of like micro success that creates a bunch of fans. We got 15 years. We got people that like weren't born that can now drive, that still have not seen a Jet playoff game. Like, that's friggin' nuts. That is unacceptable.
I had a caller for Just Jets this week. So in tomorrow's episode, you'll hear it. And he was not in elementary school yet. He was in pre-K the last time the Jets made the playoffs. And he's like, I just graduated this past year. That broke my brain to think about, like, this kid essentially lived in an entire youth without watching the team in the playoffs. And just in comparison to, like, and it's not even, the Jets never won a Super Bowl in, any of our lifetimes here. But for the first 15 years of my life, they were in 3 AFC championship games. So while they didn't get to the top of the mountain, they were, in the 2000s, they were, relatively consistent playoff teams. So you could at least hang your hat on that. I think it was 3 losing seasons from 98 to 2011.
Yeah, it was like playoffs every other year too.
Right. And now they have one winning season in the last 15 years and are on their way again to another losing season, unless they miraculously go 7-3. But I don't know how anyone can watch the first 7 games of the year and give any other reason than I just hope they do it to say that they're going to win 7 of their last 10 games. It's so fucked. It really is.
And you know what's up with this season ticket thing too? Like, you'd want to make a statement and just say, no, I'm not doing it. And if we did that in mass, maybe it would send a message. But you know what'll happen? Corporations will come in and scoop them all up. They're still going to sell them. Like Woody's business model, like he would say things like a couple years ago, he would say, Jets game sold out for tonight. And it's like, we're playing like the Raiders and we have 3 wins. And it's like, yeah, it's all Raiders fans. Like, you're celebrating the fact that your fucking home field is going to be infiltrated and taken over by the opposite team. And you're celebrating it. It's just, we're so off course. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. Zerline is a fucking pile of hot trash. And, they won't. I mean, there's nothing. You can't even get Malachi Corley on the field. We're charging people. We're by November 15th, right before Christmas, in a fucking garbage season. I mean, they're so detached, man. They don't care about us. Make no mistake.
Britt comes in, says, Jets ruined my sports week. Yankees in the World Series. Liberty won the WNBA Finals. Favorite soccer team in the playoffs. Being a Jets fan is painful. Well, at least you had that much success with every other team. There's a lot of Jets-Mets fans that are feeling pretty fucking shitty right now. Boogie Down Bronx says, even non-Jets fans are surprised at how bad we are. Yeah, I think the entire national media, I think the NFL and all the primetime games that we're going to have had are like, wow, we signed up for this again. Like, I don't care who's on the Jets in the future. We're just not doing primetime games. There's some kind of magic, like, draining energy juice that the Jets just consistently seem to consume.
Well, good news. In 9 days, they're in primetime again.
Yeah. I mean, is that the last one? Isn't that the end? Or
no, we've got a Sunday night too. We've got the Colts.
Oh, good.
It never.
At least we don't have to worry about the flexed Miami game at the end of the year. That one's probably not going to primetime.
No.
Yeah. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to be right on the razor's edge when we go back to the 1 o'clocks.
Oh, yeah. It'll be like, we're right there. We might actually do it. And then we'll have our hearts ripped out again. Sorless comes in. Says, this team reminds me of someone who owns a bunch of supercars but doesn't know how to drive them. Jets finding new ways to jet this season. Yeah, it's like, having supercars but, like, not having the keys to drive them around or something. Like, I don't even know. It really sucks. You throw them in neutral, push them around your driveway, and that's the amount of fun you can have. That's what this Jets season kind of feels like. Mitt Flair says, to me, it seems this team needs this year to gel together. If they could bring the team back next year and get competent coach, maybe we win games. So there was a big part of me that did feel this way. Like, if we had Rodgers last year, I think this is the season we would have seen last year, and it would have been clunky. They would have been trying to work their way through it, and then I think they would have fired the staff, and we would have had a new head coach in here for the start of this season. Maybe you have a new, set of energy or whatever, but it's hard looking towards the future right now. Like, if we want to play a little look into the crystal ball moment for just a second here, my best case scenario is Rodgers comes back because we have all the young talent. Everything hinges on whatever Rodgers does. If Rodgers does not come back, I'm selling pieces off. It's right into the reset. Like, let's figure it out. Next year is going to be Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Travis, and that's just how the next season is going to go. You're going to take your lumps from the dead cap hits from everyone, and then you're going to sell off some of our most loved pieces. Hopefully Rodgers is pissed off and he wants to come back. We're going to have a new coaching staff. There's just no two ways around it. I don't know how you could justify holding on to anyone from this staff at all. But then you
Rodgers
get to this
is done. Rodgers is done.
Well, I mean, he might be done, but I'm just saying, like,
done.
From his presser, it didn't feel done yet. Like,
Because there's 10 games left.
Sure. But like, and yeah, don't get me wrong. There's still plenty of time for this to go south and him to not do it. But what is the best case scenario? Rodgers comes back and, like, let's say, I still want to operate within the time frame or the mindset of Rodgers wants to continue playing, but we clearly have to get rid of the coaching staff. Douglas isn't under contract. The coaching staff's going to be gone. What GM's honestly going to want to come in here with that sort of circumstances? You're almost sort of tied to, like, hoping you can bring Douglas back at that point. Or do you just say, hey, Rodgers, we're done, and then it's just a clean slate all the way across the board, even if he wants to continue playing? I don't think Woody's going to do that. I think Woody's going to want Rodgers to continue playing because that's his cash cow of hope and, like, a chance. Woody's going to be 80 years old. He doesn't have much time left to try and see a ring. This was kind of it. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I can't get to a point where I can justify giving Joe Douglas an extension if the team misses the playoffs in the 6 years that he's here and they have a losing season in all 6 years. And I get it. He's done some things well. He's done some things that I agree with. The team is good. But at the end, I'm sorry, there's some good things on the roster is how I meant to phrase that. I'm really struggling getting to that point where you're giving him an extension, because it's not just a 1 year extension. You probably give him 3 or 4 years, and then you're tied to him for an additional, you're not firing him year one into that. So we're talking maybe 8 years of Joe Douglas. And I mean, I hope that they would be able to make the playoffs, but I don't know. Like, this is the longest leash and the longest leash in the history of leashes here. I think what you do is you clean the slate. You got to do a GM and a coaching search, and Woody Johnson needs to hire someone to run the football team. The general manager has to be the one who is making the football decisions, not Woody Johnson. And it's up to the GM what he wants to do with the quarterback and with this roster. If he wants to keep Aaron Rodgers and build with Rodgers, fine. If he wants to go another direction, also fine. I'm okay with it. I can't continue to hitch my wagon to the Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich thing and just expect something to change when this is all we've seen. If this was year 3, different story. Maybe we're having a different conversation. But they still can't figure it out after the fake kind of we're gonna try to fix it around Sam. Then we're gonna try to draft a quarterback. That doesn't work. Then it's you bring in the veteran, future Hall of Fame quarterback. That also doesn't work. It's like, well, you're gonna give the guy an extension, let him pick a new head coach, and maybe pick a new quarterback also. Like, to be the first GM in history to go 10 years without making the playoffs and have a job. I don't know. Clearly I'm down really bad right now, but I just don't know what the fix is here.
Are you convinced Joe Douglas still works here?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Anybody?
No, not at all. No, absolutely not. I'm saying if Rodgers wants to come back, I think it's going to be very tough. Like, I think you're going to wind up with like an 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐞 kind of Todd Bowles sort of scenario where you're not getting a top probably 3 or 4 caliber head coach on the job search. I think you're probably getting bottom of the barrel GM. And I'll be honest, like, as much as it sucks with Douglas, I would probably prefer him over the field of like other like second-rate GMs. Like, it's as stupid as it sounds to say that, but like,
I get it.
Almost like the best thing that could happen is Rodgers hangs it up and then we wipe the whole slate clean, because then at least we're kind of like an attractive piece. We got some pieces we could ship off. I do think Garrett winds up getting traded in the offseason if Rodgers winds up leaving. If Rodgers wants to continue playing, I think that puts us in probably the most difficult situation possible from a we need to rebuild it standpoint, but we also still have too many pieces here to figure that out. Like, if Rodgers comes back, I don't want to ship pieces off. I want to just continue, like, roll into Brees with his last year, roll with Garrett for another season. If you don't want to extend Sauce, fine, whatever. Like, just everyone comes back and you just try to do it one last time. And I don't know how you'd handle the head coach and GM. That's the crux of it for me. I'm just completely perplexed.
I'm just saying, I'm not convinced Joe Douglas is still employed now by the Jets. And it's like,
well, yeah, I definitely think Woody's been acting GM since the Rodgers trade.
Woody's been GM in this joint. He's gonna say, you know what? I'm fucking sick of it. I'm not hiring Corn Ferry. I don't need another guy. I'm doing it. That's what he's gonna do. I'm telling you, man. And you know what? I think that if the press would have stayed in that supermarket parking lot another 5 minutes, you would have seen Joe Douglas walk out with his cart after Robert Saleh. I think they're hanging out together. That's what I think.
Uh,
Where the fuck is he?
This fucking team.
Woody's almost 80. Why can't he just like go to an island somewhere with his Johnson & Johnson money and just go away?
I mean, it feels like a top-down thing. Like this, they're just consistently underperforming. Like 15 years, and Woody, you're the only constant here. I can't even say he's the only constant because Chris was there for 4 years.
15, yeah.
Like,
it's still his reject brother. It's still the Johnson family. Like,
see, dude, then my mind starts going like, Woody's been pulling all these strings. This is what's happening. He was so pissed off that Christopher Johnson selected Sam Darnold and they changed stuff that he's like, okay, I have to get the Zach Wilson JetBlue sponsor kid in the building, and that's going to be the fix. Yeah. Oh, I screwed it up. Okay, well, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to make LaFleur the scapegoat, and we're going to get Rodgers. Oh, but we could get him near training camp, but I want the primetime game, so I'm going to force the trade to happen before the draft. And then, oh, well, now I'm just going to not overthink things, and I'm just going to say thinking's overrated, and I want Devontae Adams, and I want to get Haason Reddick in here, and then now I'm 80 years old, and just everyone fucking hates me.
Yeah, he's going to double down. There's a great comment by Mr. Green Jeans. It says, Woody Johnson, such a prick, they gave him 2 pecker names.
That's an all-timer.
That's the best.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's good.
That is the best.
Boogie.
There was another comment in there by JMG earlier. He said, who do you think's more at fault? Woody, facts, or thinking's overrated Johnson, Joe missing an accent Douglas, or Aaron Booger Eater Johnson or Rodgers? I was like, That's fucking funny, man. Did he ever get caught picking his nose and eating it in Green Bay? Or did that, is that
no, I think
strictly a
when I was
Jets
watching
thing?
McAfee earlier, they said this was the first time that that's like happened. And like,
I thought the hot dog was bad. I'd much prefer a hot dog.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about him eating a booger. It's
I'm just saying,
it's more of like a metaphor for our Jets season. Like, oh yeah,
that's what I mean.
You don't deserve filet mignon. You deserve some snot.
Boogers.
Just there you go.
Boogers. Yeah.
Speaking of
can't believe
boogers,
it.
I'm gonna say your name wrong on purpose. Booger down Bronx. Sorry, thank you for the super chat.
Bronx.
Says, problem with the Jets is that the impact players are not making impact plays, and we are very soft on top of that. Rodgers is playing like shit. Yeah, like if you had told me going into this season that Rodgers is on pace for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions, I'd say, damn, this team's really friggin' good. We're going to have at least a 10-win season. I would have said that every day until, I guess, now. And now I say
Is that what he's on pace for?
I guess so. Yeah, blown away. Rodgers is like 6th in the NFL in terms of like yards for a quarterback. It's like he's not having like a bad season. He had bad games. Like the Vikings game was very bad. The interception this past weekend was very bad. And he just can't lift us the way he used to be able to lift a team. But I agree with Boogie. Our star players, our best players are showing up small in big spots. Brees has not looked good other than the last 2 weeks. Garrett has had bad, I don't want to say tendencies, but there's some bad issues with things that are going on with Garrett. Sauce, getting penalties, just getting picked or whatever. And then Quinnen not getting sacks. Like just, you go down the list. Tyron Smith, all pro, not playing well. Like you see all these names and it's just constantly guys not having an impact. At some point, you don't have an impact overall.
Telling all that said, we're gonna win. We're gonna start winning some games, man. We're close. I'm telling you.
Oh, dude, we're gonna go on a little tear here, and it's just gonna rip our hearts out again. That's what's. I know how this plays out. Like we're gonna miss the playoffs by one game. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a miracle season. We're gonna win 7 games of the last 10, and it's gonna come down to that Miami game in January at MetLife Stadium. And fucking Brees Hall's gonna fumble the rock or something like that, and Tua's gonna be concussed, and somehow Miami sneaks into the playoffs, and like
Tim Boyle,
fucking Skylar Thompson's their quarterback.
Tim Boyle's gonna beat us. Oh
yeah,
my god.
Yes,
that
would be how.
If Tim Boyle beats the Jets to get them into the playoffs over the Jets in the last week of the year, that might be all she wrote for Matt O'Leary on YouTube. I don't know if I could handle any more after that.
Oh my God. Sam says, the team is going through some PTSD with the firing. Let the season play out. Stop with the knee-jerk reactions. I don't know, dude. Usually there creates a spark there, and that's clearly not a spark. Peter.
The knee-jerk reactions? What do you mean? It's been a 7-year example.
It's been 50
How much
fucking
longer?
years,
It's been
Sam.
6 years with Joe Douglas. How much longer do we need to wait? Robert Sala's in year 4. What are we doing?
I know, Sam. I love Sam Aiken, but dude, this is not knee jerk, buddy.
Peter comes in.
I'm 51 years old. This is my 42nd year of being a diehard Jets fan. And it's the same. It's the same shit over and over, man. It's not knee jerk. We're a torture chamber. We live in a torture chamber. Frankie from Flatbush has a theory that the only purpose of the New York Jets and their fans, the Jets' only purpose for us is to get us to learn how to deal with suffering, to apply it to life. It's actually a very beneficial thing if we use it right and focus it in the right way. It's purposeful, this is where we learn how to deal with incredible gut-wrenching disappointment over and over and over again. We should all be millionaires, everybody.
We all did something wrong in our past life. That's what happened. And we're just stuck in a Groundhog's Day of football hell. Peter S. comes in and says, considering how decimated the secondary is with Clark on IR, etc., should we maybe trade for a safety as well, or any additions won't help much?
Jalen Mills was the best fucking player on the defense.
Yeah.
I agree. I was going to say, he was good. He came down to the line of scrimmage and made some plays.
He really did.
Yeah.
Best safety we've had in a while.
I'm fine with them adding some players. I don't know how much I really want them to trade anymore. Like Quentin Jefferson for like a late round pick swap. Like if you want to say like, hey, if he's on the team next year, you get a 7th round pick, which is like probably all it would take to get him at this point. I'd be all right with, but man, it's hard to want to justify dumping more assets into this team. Free agent safety, sure, why not? As long as he's not named Jamal Adams. Sky C.
Dude, Haason Reddick's coming back. We have the NFL sack leader. So Haason Reddick's coming back. We got a brand new safety who's hungry and hitting like a brick truck, whatever that is.
It's a truck that carries bricks. That's fine.
Right. The brick truck's coming.
Yeah. But, I mean, bricks don't just appear, so they gotta come on a truck. It's all right. Like a freight train.
Everything. Look, Devontae Adams, his first play was a drop. You know, bad
he stumbles
pass, but
on
hit
one
him
play.
Yep. Bad pass.
Stumbles and falls.
Did
have
a good effort cutting back to make the tackle on the interception.
That was a great play.
That was nice.
Got us to the one. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, look, that pass, the second interception, that pass was stunningly perfect. Granted, the guy got his hand up and everything, but it landed right in Garrett Wilson's chest. I mean, it was, I could see his field of vision getting blocked, but it was perfect. Right over the fingers, right into his receiver. Like, there's a lot there, man. It's so, you know what I noticed? It felt like every play, someone fucked up. You know what I mean? This play, it's Tyron Smith. Next play, it's Devontae Adams. Then it's Morgan Moses. Then it's Breece Hall. Then it's Tippmann. You know, it was this one's Aaron Rodgers. Then it's Garrett Wilson. It was always someone. You know what I mean?
So I guess I'll throw it back to you guys real quick. Should we bring in a safety, Green Bean? Yes or no?
Well, I get it, but I think we hit it. That's from Peter. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I think Jalen Mills he was the best player on defense, man. He was really doing, I mean, every time there was a good, fast, tackle behind the line of scrimmage, like you look up, it's Jalen Mills. So I think he wants to prove himself. I think he came here to play, and he was all over the field. So I'm pretty happy with him. Now, I mean, we might still, you can bring in Jalen Key. You can play Stiggers at safety. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're decimated in the defensive backfield, man. It's a big problem. That's another thing. Guys were going down. Guys were dropping like flies. That's not helping us. So I know what Peter's saying, but Jalen Mills, I think, is a good addition. Tony Adams is good. Or is Tony Adams still hurt? He got hurt in that
I believe
game.
he went out this week, didn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I don't know. Maybe, Peter. I'd have to take a deeper look, but I do like the addition of Jalen Mills.
Matt, what about you? Safety, an answer for us?
I'm good with Jalen Mills for now. I don't think them adding a safety is going to get them to go on this run. I like your idea about trying to rekindle with either Quentin Jefferson, or Shelby Harris is also there in Cleveland, and I think you can get him on the cheap. He's been perennially a very good run stuffer as well. So one of those two guys.
Sky C says, anyway, Tyrod comes in for mobile packages. No, it's going to be Aaron until Aaron can't throw or walk or do anything anymore. I do think there's a solid chance Tyrod is our quarterback next year, though, for a year competing with Tyron Smith or with Jordan Travis. Joe S says Mike Tomlin is what the Jets need right now. Yeah, unfortunately, there's only one Mike Tomlin out there. And when I look at like the rest of the league and coaches that would have to come in and be more of that disciplinarian, it's like Vrabel's the guy I kind of look at the most. And then maybe like a Brian Flores gives you a little swagger. Outside of that, I want an offensive, young head coach. Like Ben Johnson's the dream. You can get Ben Johnson. You do whatever you can to get him. But he's going to have options. He's going to be able to go other places.
He's going to be cool, yeah. And so is Vrabel. Both of those, whatever coaching positions open up, they got to be shittier than us. And I don't know if, honest to God, outside of Cleveland, where everybody's rooting for their quarterback when he goes down, they're cheering. I mean, even if you feel that way, that's still an interesting take on the fucking injury.
No, not for
outside
Watson.
of that,
Watson's
is there
okay.
a worse place? What's that?
I think Watson, it's okay. I feel like that was he's just a bad dude that got a wildly good contract for himself. And as much as I don't want to root for injury, that guy can kick rocks.
I don't
That's
know,
my
dude.
take.
I think it was the cheering was a little bit. I don't think the players after the game being like Rodgers, Deshaun Watson's a model citizen was a bit much. I didn't think the cheering was the right thing to do. I thought it kind of everyone handled that all wrong.
Oh, they need him to get arrested. That's honestly the only way out of that contract is he goes to jail. And
they're gonna have a top pick though, so they could draft a quarterback and then just kind of eat Watson on the as a backup for a year and then get out of it.
I think Jameis might win them games. I think they're gonna win a few. That team's still good.
Jameis.
Yeah,
right
Winston's
on.
the backup.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think fans wanted to see him in. It's just you're not taking away the $75 million quarterback or whatever. Jace says, my first 2 years, I remember being a Jets fan, was back-to-back AFC championship trips. Why do we get affected like this by them? Are other fans like this? I mean, for a long time, the Browns, for a long time, the Lions, for a long time, you can even say the Bears, but the Bears went to a Super Bowl at some point, like in the last 25 years. Look, it's we are a special brand of like gullible oafs. I don't know. We just we find new ways to jet it up, and I don't know, Matt. Any other kind of player or teams that you look at that maybe sympathize with us?
Yeah, I feel bad, and I know there's a couple out there, not a ton, but if you're a Jets and Buffalo Sabres fan in hockey, they're second in the active drought. Theirs is April of 2011, ours is January of 2011. So if you're a fan of both those teams, you haven't seen the playoffs in 14 years. So that's the only other one that I could put in that same realm. The Lions have kind of shaken off their cobwebs. The Browns did for a little bit, right, for a couple years, and have been much more relevant. It's bottom of the barrel right now.
Gator needs his gat dropped 100 spot.
Oh my!
In the super chat, Gator needs his gat. Thank you so much. That is incredibly generous and probably going to be the highlight of this damn week for at least these three Jet fans up here. So thank you very much for your generosity. He says, personally, I've done a 180 on JD. He is a strong trader, a great undrafted free agent scout, but is he a great drafter? He missed on Becton, on Zach, Elijah, Denzel, Clemens, Pirine, Ruckert, did okay in the mid to late rounds, and yes, hit on a few premiums. He whiffed on most of his coaches and all quarterbacks. I can't say he's missed on all quarterbacks because we did have a stretch there where Mike White and Flacco were both really good. I think, having LaFleur be the sacrificial lamb, kind of smoked us from an offensive coordinator standpoint. And then it wound up getting, Nathaniel Hackett and all that. I don't blame anyone for souring on Joe Douglas. I'd have to go back and look at every specific GM's selection and have an understanding of what their hits and miss opportunities is. Generally speaking, if you can hit on 50% of your picks, particularly first round picks, 50%, you're above average when it comes to drafting. I do think as much crap as we can give to Douglas on a lot of things. I think the Becton pick, honestly, for me, I think the Becton pick was worse than the Zach pick for me because there was very clearly a better player at the position, at a position of need at the same position. In that draft, and then by having him on the roster, you had, you allowed Morgan Moses to leave, you allowed George Fant to leave, so there were opportunities to keep offensive linemen that you kind of got stuck in this. We have this first round investment, a top 11 pick, in holding on to him. Now the Zach pick doesn't work out. It's easy to say you trade down right now, and you keep Sam. There were people in the building that wanted to do it. There were a lot of fans that wanted to keep Sam too, and that's probably would have been the best course of action with the 49ers trade down. I didn't like the Elijah Moore pick at the time. I thought that was, not the best of picks. I questioned his character from the get-go, but I think that at least the talent looked like it was there initially. He hasn't really done much since then. Denzel was a bust. We all wanted him. He fell pretty far into the second round, seemingly for a reason, I guess. Clemens, once you start getting into like the fourth round, I have a little less, irritation by draft picks because I think it's all kind of a crapshoot at that point. I mean, remember, we did get 𝐒𝐿𝐽. We got Michael Carter the second. We've got Brees in the second round. Like there are a lot of hits that, provided some value in there as well. But look, I don't blame you. Like there are some big misses in there for Joe Douglas. Green Bean, your thoughts on Gator Needs His Gats super chat, particularly the drafting aspect of Joe Douglas.
Well, here's what I think, sad to say. I think that a lot of this, unfortunately, is on the coaches. I don't think very highly of this coaching staff. I think, and everybody can say what they want, I think this staff absolutely ruined Denzel Mims. He's a soft-spoken kind of introvert. 𝐒𝐿𝐽 as well. 𝐒𝐿𝐽 has a career, everybody. I don't know if you know that. He was never supposed to be a starting running back. He's a role player. He's fine. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's doing great out there. So these are Elijah Moore ended up being a piece of shit. Very, very talented kid and all that. But this offensive staff, like they're just, there's nothing here. There's no development. There's nothing here. And we got rid of, like Ryan mentioned earlier, LaFleur, who was a significantly better play designer than we've seen since he left. His thing was he's a rookie. He doesn't know what no real interpersonal skills, no development or anything like that. So, you need to have all that. Like that's part of being an offensive coordinator. And then like being able to control, manage, and influence your staff. Like we don't have it. There's nothing here. So Becton was a weird pick. Don't forget that was the COVID year. That was the first year we were live, right? So we all thought that Wirfs was the pick, but we got it. Like he took the swing on the boomer bust guy. You know what I mean?
But that was his also first like the red flag was there with the popped drug test at the combine. Like that was a big red flag.
What was the drug?
Well, no, the drug wasn't the issue. It was the fact that he got hit with the red flag from a positive drug test going into his. It was just pot, but it was just like, hey, you're going into your biggest job interview and you have that lapse in judgment. Like that was a microcosm into what Mekhi Becton ultimately was with us in the NFL. Undisciplined, kind of a me kind of guy. Like,
yeah. Well, not for nothing. Becton's doing fine. You know what I mean? Another, like, it was one of those, it's like, I don't think this staff manages people very well. Like we have this whole lack of accountability thing. You got guys on the field who just are not playing well and there's no repercussion. There's no attempt at fixing it, whether it's Saleh and now 𝐒𝐽𝐽, it's hard to get really tough on 𝐒𝐽𝐽 because he's his second game ever as a head coach. So, he's trying to figure it out or whatever, but there are all these mantras, this all gas, no brake, accountability, fucking lock arms, all this stuff. And none of it is real. It's just lip service. Right. So a lot of these guys, like, I don't know what Ruckert would have been if he was drafted on the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Who knows what these guys, if you go to a staff that knows how to utilize people and not just kind of put people on the field for whatever, maybe it's a different story for some of these guys. Now, I know what you're saying, and I'm not necessarily defending him because he's done a lot. Like, there's a reason why the last 2 years, and some of it's obviously Aaron Rodgers, but if you just put Aaron Rodgers on the 2019 Jets, they're not putting us on a bunch of primetime games because they know it's going to be, we had nothing around him. There's enough here, and again, enough here to lure him here. So that has to be accounted for. And I look, I'm at a point right now, like Joe Douglas clearly can't draft offensive linemen. All right. Like if AVT is healthy, and I don't know what the story is with him, but if he doesn't make it through this season, there's a problem, but he's like the only real hit. I mean, Tippmann, you could say too, right? But he's drafted one or two offensive linemen in every single draft, and most of them are hot garbage. I mean, and then you got Chuma Edoga is also a guard somewhere playing. I forget exactly, maybe the Saints or Texans or somebody like that. And it's like, why can't we ever figure shit like that out? Because we have a staff that just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And so a lot of these guys, they could have been role players. They could have been part of the team. Like look, Pirine as an example, and you guys know I was a Pirine guy. I liked him in college. I liked what he was supposed to bring to the NFL. He had a 4-yard per carry average. He's a get you the tough yard, kind of guy. He can break it, but that's not really his thing. He's just a role player. He comes in, he spells, your running back. He gets hard yards, and he plays special teams. And he was like in the doghouse here, same thing with Denzel Mims. He never had a fucking problem all through college. Adam Gase used him beautifully. He was fine. We were all excited about Denzel Mims. They come in and he's in the doghouse right out of the gate. Why? Because he's quiet, because he sits over there in the corner and he's not fucking yucking it up and making jokes and shit. So I don't know what's up with this team, but if you just look at the on-field production of our offense over the entirety of this regime, it's been garbage. And there's lots of reasons for that one way or the other. But the one thing that you can say is that who have we developed on the offense? Name one fucking guy. Gibson? I don't know. Brownlee? What are they doing? Gibson shouldn't even be on the field, man. I'm just telling you.
Dude, his punt returns, like 4 in a row, just dropping them. I was like, Corley needs to be active.
So like, why not? They said that this guy was their 4th receiver in the whole draft. So he's not better than your undrafted free agent, 5'7", 170-pound fucker. He can't beat him. His routes aren't. He wanted just a little bit more to the left. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? He's a football player. Get him on the field. It's like, how many times does Gibson have to drop the ball or run dead into a guy, or run around for a little while and get 4 yards? I'm sure he's got talent there, right? And I know he has a skill set that nobody else on the team has. Who cares? He should have drafted Malik Washington and watched what a guy with that skill set really can do. That size and that skill set. But anyway, man, so I don't know. Gator needs his gat. I think there's definitely a case for that. Your point is sound and solid, but there's a deeper layer, I think, to some of this stuff.
So, Matt, I want to get your take. I just want to fill in Gator's super chat. To clarify, Green Bean, I liked a lot of the guys we took coming out too, but ain't it JD's job to take guys his staff could coach and make look good? I think that's, kind of valid argument, but I think getting the talent here, it's on JD to bring in coaches that can develop. And on the defensive side of the ball, they were able to do that. Like you see all the success from JFM and Huff and, the first year of Michael Clemens. And then like even these undrafted free agents this year, like the Jets got a lot out of some really, I would say jag type players. Matt, what are your thoughts on Gator's super chat here on the whole, drafting of Joe Douglas?
Well, for me, it's just way too inconsistent and way too up and down. The 22 class is obviously the cream of the crop with the 4 at the top of that draft. But 2020 was a complete swing and miss, unfortunately. They didn't really get anything of value. They missed on both their left tackle and wide receiver. In 2021, missed badly on the quarterback. And I liked Zach Wilson. I was okay with them making that selection, but a miss is a miss. Like you just because you make a decision, it doesn't work out. You don't get a pass because it was a consensus thing to do. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. AVT and Michael Carter II are really the only other saving graces from that class.
Sherwood.
Oh, Sherwood too. Sherwood too. He has
Eccles.
Starter.
I was gonna say Eccles was that year too, I think.
Yeah, he was. And Pinnock, who we let go, he would have been real nice right about now.
Yeah, it's just very hit or miss for me. The 23, I think he got 2 starters in McDonald and Tittman. But Greenbean pointed out on some of the depth picks in round 4 through 7 on the offensive side of the ball, it seems like they get absolutely 0 out of. The guys that they have developed have all been on the defensive side of the ball. And, Robert Saleh was scapegoated, some say, by this team, but that was the person that Joe Douglas hired. And he's the one making the football decisions. So I do think that, well, until maybe the last couple of weeks where Woody has taken over, but I do think that Douglas needs accountability in this too. And I don't think he deserves the free pass in all their struggles. He's definitely as much of a part of the issue as everyone else here.
Matt, is there anything that Douglas could do? I mean, obviously he can't really do much the rest of the season, but is there something that could happen that you would say, okay, he does deserve to come back? Or are you kind of just like at this point sort of tapped out and it's more so just it has to be playoffs and that's the only way you kind of see it?
That's, to me, it's just playoffs. I can't justify bringing him back if this team is a 6 or 7 win team again. It's enough of we're building this thing up. It's year 6, or if you want to start it in 2021, even it's year 4. We have to see results on the field. We can't talk about, the team being good on paper. They have to do it on the football field now for me.
Sam dropped in with a 5 Talkin Jets members. Thank you so much for joining the OnlyFans. Drop that JETS in the chat for all our new members here. Matt, are you ready over there?
Who gets it?
Give me a second.
Yeah, who gets
do one more and come back.
Oh, right.
Well, Ryan, who got the memberships?
I have no idea. That came in a while ago, and I'm not remotely on that tab right now.
Let me see if I can find it for you. Let me see here. I don't know if it might be gone. Shit, it's gone. Damn it. I can go. Nope, it's gone. Damn it. Well, all you guys, congratulations. Thank you, Sam. You're the man.
All right, let's go over to Matt for a quick word. Then we're going to rip through some of these super chats. I know you guys have there's been a little bit of a backlog here with us kind of talking and whatnot, but we'll hammer some of these out in just a moment.
Yeah, we'll rip through those. But in a year full of surprises, underdog wins, and so-called experts getting it all wrong, this is where MyBookie is the one book that got your back no matter what. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action with you in total control. Think you guys are going to roll the dice with any other book? Good luck with that. At MyBookie, it's never been about guessing. It's about giving you the edge, so every bet you place comes with confidence and a plan. If you know football and love to win, MyBookie was made for you. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we got you covered. Step 1, sign up using our code Talkin Jets, and that'll double your bankroll with a 100% match deposit bonus right from the jump. That's more money, more power to make winning plays. If you've been betting with us already, we've got something else for you, MyBookie Plus, which is the new loyalty rewards program. You can earn extra cash just for doing what you normally do. More plays, more winnings, and more cash in your account. No strings attached. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie, the sports book that gives you control and rewards you for every moment of play. Sign up with promo code Talkin Jets.
All right. Let's hammer some of these out. I think this is where we're at. We're at Boogie Down Bronx. What is even more crazy? We haven't made the playoffs in almost 15 years, and the team has quadrupled in value. I don't think Woody gives a shit at all. For these billionaires, this is just it's a game of chess. Not even a game of chess. With Woody Johnson, it's a game of checkers. That's about it. And he's just happy to have it and play with it and bring it to his friend's house and show him over in London. And then, you know what? It doesn't matter because I got my billions sitting back at home. I think he does want to win, but I just think, I don't know. I just think he gets in the way. It's crazy.
Well, it's more than quadrupled. It's 10 times. In the
last 15 years?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That's
point something billion. Let me see.
We were worth less than $1 billion 15 years ago?
He bought it for $625 million.
Oh,
in 2000.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Wild.
Oh, in 15 years, quadrupled. I get it. Yep. Sorry. Oh, you meant since he bought it. My bad.
All good. Pooch Guy says, going to be a long time before I spend money on this team. I don't blame you. Sam Aiken, again, drops another 5 memberships to Talkin Jets channel. Then Ryan Rivera drops another one. You boys, far too generous. Drop some JETS in the chat. Make us feel a little happy in there. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. Long time before I spend money on this team. Joe the Jet says, I will never see my team in a playoff game again. Keep your head up, Joe. Keep your head up. We got this. We're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. We got a little bit of life still. Hype says, in 38 years, first time I took a mental health day, couldn't do anything sports yesterday. Brick needs to give up play calling, needs to give up calling the D. He's the new coach, can't do both. I mean, at this point, I'm fine with trying anything. Just do something, see if it sticks. We just got to win. Just got to win. Got to find a way. Wild Wave says, Woody meddles too much. We had a good rebuild going on, and he forced the Rodgers trade. Why? He always got to be involved. No regime will have success here. Look, I approve of the Rodgers trade. I don't approve of when he did it because I thought it would have made more sense to wait until the Packers were going to be forced to cut Rodgers. But I think the correct move was, hey, we have so many young, good studs on this team. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Brees could have been Offensive Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt. Like, the time to strike was a guy coming off back-to-back MVP seasons after he was pissed off that he had a down year. Like, I get it. I think it was the right move to make at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what would have been different. Like, does Carr make us feel better in this sort of situation? I don't think Carr is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. What was that, Matt?
I think they'd be 2-5 right now with Derek Carr also.
I don't know. I think Carr has looked really good. I mean, he's hurt, right?
Well, yeah, he's out for like 4 games, I think.
Yeah, so he's hurt. So it is, but he was looking really good. But you know what the difference is, everybody? All you Zach homers and all that shit. The difference is that the defense played lights out with Zach. Like, there are games where we got 3 turnovers. Like the Eagles game, we got 4 turnovers. We didn't get 1 touchdown. I mean, except for defensively, we kicked field goals in that game. So, like, we lost games with Zach Wilson where the other team didn't score a touchdown. We lost numerous games, 13, 10 points. Like, the defense was playing lights out for Zach, during the Zach Wilson years. The difference is the defense is not the same right now. Like, we're struggling, right? The defensive line is not the same. Our defensive secondary is beat up, to say the least. JJ's out for the year. Chuck Clark is out indefinitely, right? DJ Reed's been hurt. He was our best player on defense, DJ Reed, for a number of consecutive weeks, and then all of a sudden he's gone. So it's, there's a lot going on this year. Like, if the defense of last year was present right now, the offense is doing more this year than we've seen in the past. There's no doubt about it. Now, the second half of the Steelers game, obviously, we just imploded and collapsed. But other than that, like, the offense is playing better. And anybody who can't see that is just looking through your fucking hate-filled eyes. You know what I mean? Your love for Zach Wilson, QB3 on the Broncos. But it's like, that's the issue, is that, like, all these years we had this lights out defense with 0 offense to speak of. We have some offense, and the defense is not what it used to be, right? Up to this point. So it's hard to compare everything. It's not apples to apples here.
I see John in the chat. It says, what happens to the cap if Rodgers decides to retire, and did Adams rework his contract to give himself guaranteed money next year? So no, he got a signing bonus and did not restructure the next 2 years. And that was purposely done to give him, 1, leverage for a new deal, 2, allow him the opportunity, if Rodgers does retire, to get cut and go to a place that he can get a new contract and try to win a Super Bowl if Rodgers, is done. So Devontae does not impact our cap next year, other than the void years by dropping his signing bonus. So there's going to be a little bit more dead cap than we would have otherwise had. We wouldn't have had any dead cap prior to the restructure there. As far as Rodgers retiring, we need him to willingly do it, because we need, I believe, if I'm reading the contract correctly, we need him to retire, or at least turn in the paperwork post June 1st. Because the amount of dead cap that's going to hit us is going to essentially cripple any opportunity for us to add more talent. We have a lot of cap space. Like the Jets can make $100 million in cap space this offseason pretty easily. But there's some big pieces that are going to be missing. Obviously, no Morgan Moses, no Tyron Smith. DJ Reed's going to be gone. Conklin's going to be gone. I'm sure there's other names that I'm just missing off the top of my head. But if Rodgers is not here, the cap, if we wanted to say move on without Rodgers and say, hey, we're going a different direction, like we're going to take the full brunt of his cap hit if he wants to continue playing elsewhere in the one season. And I don't think Woody's going to allow Rodgers to go elsewhere. I think Woody's going to try and hold him here if he can, because I think that's the cash cow. Matt, any thoughts on Rodgers and him either playing or not playing next year?
Yeah, the post June 1, it's only the $14 million in dead money in 2025 and 6 and 7, which is livable, right? Like if it's post June 1, I think that's the move. Yeah, it's they have ways to get around and get creative. There's always creative ways you could do things with the salary cap. I know a lot of people are worried about 2026. We get there when we get there. I want to worry about the rest of this year in 2025 first before I'm worrying about 2026. But I think if something was to happen, it would have to be post June 1 and either trade or retire or release, whatever it is.
Yeah, and Rodgers does have that trigger in his contract still. I forget the exact date. March 15th is kind of ringing out in my ears right now as the date for his contract. But there is a $35 million signing bonus, or bonus that hits if he's on the roster, I believe. Let me just see if it says it. Yeah, in 2025, there's another $35 million option bonus that can be exercised. So that would obviously add on to more dead cap in 2026. So like the issue of that 2026 year is kind of mitigated if he decides to retire after June 1st this year, because what they would do is they would restructure that bonus to hit, say, June 2nd instead of, when it's scheduled to hit, and they would just, wipe out that money at that point. So it's on Rodgers. If he wants to continue playing, then he's got us by the balls. That's sort of how it plays out. Dante says, if Woody pulls a Jerry and becomes GM, please kill me. I think he's already done it. Turbos, rather trade Adams than Wilson. I put it this way. Adams isn't going to be here if Rodgers isn't here next year. If Rodgers isn't here next year, I don't think Garrett is here next year. I think Garrett doesn't want to play for... I would be surprised to see him go through some growing pains. Like, I don't know if Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Travis is enough of a lure to get him to want to stay, especially when there was that rumor that, I shouldn't even say rumor, but the article that came out from Adam Schefter saying that teams were inquiring about Garrett Wilson and that they're willing to pay him a lucrative contract as soon as his contract becomes negotiable, which is immediately after this season ends. So, March 15th or 17th or whatever the first year of the new league year is, that's when you can give him a contract. And if Garrett says, hey, look, I'm worth 4 years, $100 million, or maybe 4 years, 120 at $30 million, whatever it is, if there's a team out there that's going to pay it, we're going to have an issue with Garrett on our roster by not paying him and not having a quarterback here. So while I don't necessarily disagree with you, I think there's more nuance to the Garrett Wilson situation than just Garrett versus Adams. Like, I don't think the Jets are trading Garrett if Rodgers comes back and Adams is back. I think Garrett's on this team then. Matt, your thoughts about Garrett Wilson?
I don't understand the infatuation with trying to trade Garrett Wilson. I think even if you're moving on from Aaron Rodgers, then if you're going to bring a young quarterback in here, we're going to be in that same boat of, oh, well, how can we evaluate the guy? He doesn't have any weapons to.
He has no weapons, no receivers, man.
So I don't get that one at all.
So if Garrett says he does, this is all purely speculation, because I'm just going on the assumption that I don't think Garrett wants to play with another Zach Wilson-esque type quarterback potentially. And he's already
based on what?
Based on the last few years of him, watching him play. I feel like you wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe he wants to. Maybe he's down with that. But I think if you're offered a crazy ton of money, unless the Jets are going to give him a fat contract extension to stay here, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'd rather him play out his contract. And I feel like you're going to have some bad blood if there's other teams out there willing to trade for him and give him the money, and we're not doing it. Do you think we should give him the big like the, $25 to $30 million a year?
Yeah, I think you should get a contract similar to Jalen Waddle. I think they're similar to your players, and it was around $28 million.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Garrett Wilson's fantastic, man. And just because it's not perfect or this year, like, again, it's not like Garrett Wilson is the problem.
No,
you know
no,
I mean?
I'm not saying
now
he's
had his bad. I'm just talking about, like, people are talking about it and all that shit. I know what you're saying. To me, it looks like, look, I put out a tweet about this, but a couple of years ago, I was really excited about this influx of young players. A lot of it catapulted by the Jamal Adams trade and having 2 firsts multiple years and all that kind of stuff, which we used. I'm bringing in a nice crop of young players. Now, the thing I was saying was, it's good to get this many young, talented guys because they don't know they're supposed to suck. They don't know it's just because it's the Jets. Like, this is where players go to die. They don't know that. And we can change the culture that way. Enough guys are like, no, fuck you. I'm great. And I want to have a Hall of Fame career. That's what I'm shooting for. But you can see it. It's like the cloud is permeating. For me, I see it in Brees. I see it in Garrett Wilson. So to me, it's like I could see somebody like him just saying, like, there's nothing that can be done here. This place is a cesspool. And now fans, I have a couple bad games and they're talking about they want to trade me and I suck. And Sauce gets off of social media because we're ripping on Brees because he had a couple of bad games. I mean, we're not look, there's a reason for it. And I give us a pass because nobody knows what we've been through. Like, you have to live this shit to realize what it feels like, right? So I understand it, but I do get why people wouldn't want to deal with us. Like, it's out of control. We go from one week to the next, like Super Bowl or fire everybody. Like, that's how we are here. And so a guy like Garrett Wilson, who's been a consummate pro, Sauce and Garrett Wilson, they stay after practices. They sign hundreds of kids. Like, these are our superstars. Dom was saying that when he was there at practice. He said, it was amazing, man. Like, our biggest young stars stayed until every kid got an autograph. And then they have a bad game and we throw shit at them and we call them, whatever names we want to, and we blow them up on social media and say they should be traded. Like, why the fuck would they want to deal with this? Like, when times get hard, they're having a hard enough time and they got to deal with this shit. So I could see it. Now, again, it's all fictitious. It's all just hypothetical. We don't know. You could be like, no way, I love it. I don't know. But it looks to me like the weight is starting to set in. And we've seen it time and time again with players, and they can't wait to get out of here.
That's exactly how I feel. And honestly, I think it's not even just the Garrett, just like how I think Garrett feels. It's how I think a new GM might view a potential situation like that. Like, Garrett is an incredibly valuable chip to have. Like, I think he's a great player, a great person in the locker room. Like, I like Garrett. I don't want to see him go. But if a new GM says, hey, the Jets wound up winning 7 games or 8 games and, like, Rodgers is gone and I just got to figure out where this is going to go, and I have an opportunity to maybe it's get 2 first-round picks or move all the way up to go get your quarterback or something like that. Like, I don't know. I could see a situation where the GM may not want to give out the big contract to a guy that may not necessarily want to be here. That's more what I'm trying to get at. But again, like Matt said, I'm kind of putting words in his mouth, and I'm just more so going off my gut than anything else.
Yeah, I'd keep Garrett here as long as I could. I think he's phenomenal, and he's got the fire. And I mean, he's things.
Good.
I mean, I think.
Jet.
Yes.
What's that?
I said he's everything that I want in a Jet.
Me too. He's my favorite offensive player.
Dante says Locked On Jets had a great breakdown on how Woody has meddled. I'll have to go watch it, but I have a pretty decent idea of how I feel he's meddled. Trump wins. He goes back to London. We hire a real football guy. We fix this crap. Blitz Crew says, no idea what's wrong with the franchise. Only constant is Woody. If we can't win with this much talent, it's got to be a culture issue. Yeah, well, that's the other part of this whole, really good roster that we have. It's like, how much better can we see this roster getting? And like, what's going to change from having Aaron Rodgers at quarterback to literally anyone else? Like, I just find it hopeless right now. And maybe that's just because of the immediacy of losing these last 4 games. But like, you can't change the owner if he doesn't want to sell, right? Like, you got to get some compromising stuff on Woody to force the NFL to make him sell his team. Look, Schneider's gone from fucking Washington, and they have all the success in the world right now. Jaden Daniels looks like a stud. I don't know.
Keep swinging till you hit on quarterback.
God, we've swung so many times. We've tried the veteran quarterback route numerous times with Fitz, with McCown, with Rodgers, with fucking Favre. And then we tried it with the young quarterbacks, with Sanchez, with Darnold, with Zach, with Geno. Like, there's so many different ways to try and do this. And it's like, I don't know the right answer. I do not know. I'm so lost. I feel broken. I don't know. I don't have an answer, like, at all.
Yeah, I'm
just here for the ride.
I actually got a little sick. Like, so yesterday I was sick and I was like trying to work, but I didn't make any content yet this week. So like that weighs on me. But on the other end, I'm like, thank God, I'm just gonna be sick and not talk about it. Like, it's almost like thank you, the Lord above. So I don't have to talk because I got nothing left. He said I'm broken as far as like the part of me that is the Jets. And now years ago, I used to walk out of that stadium utterly dejected, couldn't speak, and then I would be ruined for the whole week until we played again. That I'm not there anymore. But the part of me that is the Jets fan is just completely out of ideas unless I had control. Which, by the fucking way, give me 2 years, I would fix this whole thing. I'm telling you. Now, Ryan and Matt and Dom C, we'd all be in there together. Let me tell you, I just need final say. That's it.
What do we got to lose?
I need final say. What?
I said, what do we got to lose at this point?
Well, I'm going to write a letter to Woody, dude.
Just start a petition.
You love big headlines. Let's go fucking Ted Lasso this shit, man.
We decided we're going to let the fans dictate the season because they're so pissed off. these 3 monkeys come out.
Give us the keys. Pay us the average of the bottom 3 paid GMs. Give us that. Okay. Give me a 2-year contract at the end of which we'll reevaluate. Let me pick my staff. I need your accountants and shit like that. Keep those guys employed because I can't count. Okay. But other than that, we'll fix it, dude. And the thing is, like, who knows the team better than us? We know the curse. We know the whole thing. And we're not going to get beat up by the weight of the team. The only problem that bothers me is I can't do anything about it. I just talk shit. I want control. And if I had control, this fucking team would be fixed. And you would see the first GM of all time on the sideline every game leaning into his coach's ear. Hey, you fucking watching that guy? Why is he still out there? I'm going to fucking fire you.
Jack says, someone needs to give Woody a good spanking. I volunteer you, Jack. But yes, Britt says, I'm not giving up on this team. They've given up on us. Derek.
Yeah, right. Well said.
Says Derek from the Beach Gallery. Hey, what's up, Derek? Says, I'm super pissed that the Jets are expecting us to put our deposits down next year in a few weeks. Yeah, Derek's a season ticket holder for the Jets. If you guys haven't been to the Beach Gallery down the shore, you got to go. Got to go. It's got a 6 spot. But yes, unfortunately, the Jets are trying to hammer us for all sorts of money. I'm surprised they're not hitting us up. Hey, so you guys sure you don't want to do that group buy again, towards the end of the season? We could really use selling some tickets, even though they're going to be cheaper than the price of a beer. That's what's going to happen. I had someone try to sell me season tickets like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was. I was like, dude, I've seen what these tickets go for the end of the year. I am not doing that. Brutal.
I don't know how they do it every year, how people renew. It's for the love of the team, obviously, and I give them the utmost respect in the world for it, but I don't think there's a fan base treated worse out there than Jets season ticket holders.
Yeah. And then you look at what other season ticket holders get for their season ticket package, and you look at the Jets like, hey, you get a 50% off soda or something stupid like that. Here's a yearbook with all the ads and sponsors in it. 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞 says trade all the picks now. I don't want to trade all the picks. I'm in like more of like this weird panic of like I want to be able to build at some point. I want to make some moves, but like I want relatively low cost moves. Like bringing in Quentin Jefferson is not going to cost you a whole heck of a lot. Douglas says, I'm 54, been a fan since 82 season, and now I'm at the point where I just hate to watch to see, or where I just have to watch to see how dysfunctional and inept this franchise can be. Yeah, look, I'll be honest. There was a point in time where I was like livid over like certain things the Jets would do and not do. And like this year has broken me. I'm broken. I don't want to say I don't care, because I care. But like if the Jets go out and lose to the Patriots, I'm not going to get worked up. I'm not. Like I just
Nor should you be surprised, by the way. No one should be surprised if they lose this week.
Not at all. I would not for the life of me. Someone asked me like, are you going to take like I have Jets defense or I have this other defense? I don't remember what the other one was off the top of my head. But I was like, don't play the Jets defense. Like right now, one, we're hurt to all hell. And two, like I don't trust this team. Not in the slightest. They could lose any game on our schedule right now. Any game on the schedule. Dylan comes in. So I think people are ignorant of all of the hit or miss percentage of other GMs coming in with a little defense of Joe Douglas. I do agree with you. I agree with Dylan here. I think the hardest part about the Joe Douglas situation is everything that Matt said. We haven't made the playoffs. It's been 6 years. Realistically, if Douglas, since he's up for his contract now, if you have to figure out like, okay, well, you're not going to do a Band-Aid contract if you're Douglas. You're saying, I want 4 or 5 years. If you're going to give me a deal and you want me to be here, or you can play the field, like I want the next opportunity to bring in a head coach. I want the next opportunity to draft another quarterback. Like that's what you'd have to sign up for Douglas. And I don't know if you can. Like that's really hard to commit to. It's hard. Dante says, preach, Green Bean, preach. Talking about our Jets stinking, all that good stuff.
No, maybe. He was talking about how great I would be at as a GM.
Well, this is from right after the Gator Needs His Gat big super chat. So the 180 on Joe Douglas was I think what he's referring to here.
Yeah. Think about this. It's not even that we didn't make the playoffs. We haven't had an 8-win season yet. Like if we're gonna get,
dude, we haven't had a winning season since we started YouTube channels. Like not just playoffs. Like just one more win than we do losses. It hasn't happened. Let me say this.
The Adam Gase led Jets in his first year went on a 6-2 run. Everybody.
Yep.
So 7-3, not out of the question. Or 7-2, right? What does it got to be, Matt? Where are we?
7-3 gets you to 9-8. 8-2 gets you to 10-7. Good luck.
10-7 hasn't missed the playoffs yet in this new format. I guess there's an outside shot that 9 wins could get you in, but you probably need tiebreakers. And I would imagine after losing to the Steelers, the Broncos, and the Bills, we probably do not own those tiebreakers. John comes in with a super chat. John says, with Garrett Wilson, Brees, Olu, Tittman, and possibly 1 year of Rodgers and Adams could lure Ben Johnson, how many teams will be searching for their new head coach? I think Ben Johnson's going to be the cream of the crop coaching candidate. So wherever he wants to go is where he's going to go. So I think Jacksonville, I think Philadelphia, I think Dallas. Like those,
you say, dude, $12 million a year.
You have to. Woody's got to open up the checkbook, whatever the cost is. That would be the move. It'd be like, we're not letting you out of the building. Like you come and take this interview, you don't leave. We're going to tie you to this chair until you say yes to a number. What's the number? We're putting it on. I'm writing it down right here. Here's the number. It's the only way you get them. Now, maybe there's an opportunity if we like, that's why I want to win as many games as we can. Like as much as like it would hurt our draft stock in the event we, can't make the playoffs and whatever, win as many games as you can. Cause you need to make this look appealing in the event Rodgers wants to come back. I think Rodgers has to come back to make this a semi-attractive landing spot because now you can draft your quarterback potentially in this draft and have Aaron Rodgers and develop him. And I think that is the most beneficial way forward. If Rodgers wants to hang it up, I don't know I don't know who really wants to come to this team. I don't know. Green Bean, you think what head coaching jobs do you think are going to be open that the Jet fan base will have to like wrap our heads around competing with? Philly,
the Carolina
Dallas,
guy. Carolina, is this his second year?
This is his first year, I believe.
Oh yeah, okay. They might. But yeah. So Jacksonville potentially. I don't know. The Eagles are making a run here, turning it around. So
it's probably a good thing for us. Because I think that team is more attractive, especially a Ben Johnson.
How long? I'm sorry. Go on. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just spitballing ideas here.
Cleveland. How long's he been there? What's his name? Stefanski or some shit?
I would be all right with bringing him in if that was an option.
I hope they fire him. That would be my choice.
Yeah, that would be a good option. Offensive-minded guy.
There's one playoff game.
I mean, all right, the Falcons just got their guy, John Harbaugh, right? He's not. Sean McDermott staying. The Bears look. I mean, Bengals. Zach Taylor's not going. I mean, maybe the Bengals. I mean, I don't know.
I think the Bears are like a dark horse
Cowboys.
for possibly a new. Well, I think Cowboys are definitely getting rid of McCarthy. I
And
think
they'll
that's
get
going to be
Belichick.
where
That's where he'll go.
I think if there's one spot that is a good option for Belichick. Although him kind of going back and forth with Jerry Jones, I don't know how like compatible that is if Bill wants that kind of control. But I do think that's
maybe he doesn't want the player picks anymore. He just says, I just want to coach fucking football.
Is there any shot Dable
hanging out with Pat McAfee? What?
Any shot Dable shakes free?
Yes, I think.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Who's the better high spot to land? The Giants or Jets?
Giants.
It depends, right?
Yeah.
I think if Aaron comes back, I think the Jets are probably the better one to land right now. But you could be, if you're talking GM, you may not want to deal with Woody. You might want to have the Maras as your owner. Malik Neighbors is a stud. I think there's some good pieces on that defensive line for them. Like Dexter Lawrence is a freak right now. I think he has the highest double team percentage and like the most sacks at the position.
Yeah. What about Antonio Pierce in Vegas?
Raiders are probably going to be available. I think he's gone.
Possible. There's going to be like 7-8 openings, so good luck.
You think? I don't know. I don't see it.
I would say.
Well, I would say Dallas.
Giants.
I would say
Dallas, Giants, potentially Eagles if they don't do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Potentially Eagles, Saints.
You think the Saints still do it? Is this their second year with him?
Dennis Allen's been there a long time. This is Dennis Allen's
This is third year.
Third
Did
year.
he have 1 year without Carr?
Yeah, he's got a
Yes.
.338 winning percentage.
All right, so Saints could open up. Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. The Jets, obviously.
Obviously.
Might not Jacksonville.
Potentially the Browns, potentially the Bengals.
Maybe the Bears. I mean, it kind of the Bears are an interesting spot because like they were a dark horse, like a top 5 team for Belichick at one point. As far as
but they
odds
look
go.
like shit. They're playing some
They're
good
playing
ball,
much
man.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as far as on that list, like where do we think the Jets stack up of those like potential teams? Like I would rather have Burrow and Chase. I would rather have, I would still rather be in Dallas, I think, than with the Jets. Giants are probably a coin flip with the Jets, maybe. Trying to think Eagles would be a better option. What was that?
How many did we get to?
I mean, it was at
Tennessee
least 7 or
Titans.
8, right?
Brian Callahan's he's good. Dan Quinn's doing great
Yeah.
in Washington. Todd Bowles is going to be there. Mike McDonald's doing great. Kyle Shanahan, Tomlin, Sirianni is like we talked about. Dable, Dennis Allen. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe 3, 4, right? 4.
I think it's going to be more than that. I really do. Oh, wait, you think we'll be 4th on the list?
I think we're somewhere around the bottom.
Oh, you think there's going to be 4 openings and we'll be somewhere around. I got you. Okay.
I think we're going to be somewhere around the least attractive.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna be able to get a top guy unless Woody just shells out a stupid amount.
He's got to pay. You know what it is. Hey, you know what Woody keeps throwing out there. This is our big attractive ticket here.
Mm-hmm.
If you win in New York, you'll be a legend. That's what we got.
Expectations are so low, you can only go up from here. Like, yeah. It's kind of.
If you win here, we're great. But the problem is we make it really hard to win here.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah. Almost. Telling you, the only way to do it is us. Keep it in-house. Ted Lasso it. Biggest story. We'd be all over ESPN. The coverage would be amazing.
We'd have, like, knuckleheads like us breaking down our every move. Okay, let's go back to their old videos and see how they would have GM'd, and look how terrible it was in hindsight. Or good. You know,
go ahead, find my old stuff. You'll fucking be like, why didn't we listen to this guy?
Dude, my rebuild of the Jets, the year we hired Saleh, was pretty damn good. But we didn't. It would have been Daboll as head coach. It would have been Joe Brady as OC, and it would have been Aaron Glenn is DC. Aaron Glenn?
That'd been fun.
Might have been Jim Leonard. Might have been Jim Leonard from Wisconsin, actually. Joe S. says JD hired this coaching staff. John says Woody needs a spanking. Just putting a little emphasis on it. Oreo says, you guys give more entertaining videos when the Jets lose.
No, not true. I've had
How do you know?
the most fun.
We haven't seen any when the Jets win.
Right. You don't know.
Yeah, more people click on winning videos than losing videos. So I would like them to win.
Dude, the amount of like fall off of a channel when like everyone's just like, this season's lost. Like, I don't go back and rewatch like a bunch of like, well, I wonder if I watch the replays of this, or I want to see this, or I want to see that after a loss. I mean, like, I'll watch the all 22 and I'll see what things went wrong. But like, I'm not staying up till the middle of the night. Like when the Jets have a big win, I'm looking up every fucking piece of content I can look at.
Me too.
Just
Me too. I'm the same way. I can't get enough. I can't get enough with the wins. With the losses, I'm gone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't watch anything. I don't even watch the rest of the games that day.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it puts me in a bad mood. It's nice when we have a bye week and you're like, I could just sit and watch Red Zone all day and I'm not going to get disappointed. It's great.
I'm gonna go weed.
Yeah. I'm gonna go outside and dig up some rocks. That's what I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
Jet it out.
Chop some wood.
I'm gonna chop some wood. Not traveling sauce will be the death of us. Absolutely no answer to teams adjusting wideouts, especially when they bunch. We had Adams on 𝐒𝐿. Yeah, look, when you go in bunch formation, it's so tough. It's much easier to shake off a specific player because of those rub routes and the different picks that you can cause from it. I would love to see Sauce travel because why the hell not? We got nothing left. Ryan, you're not a therapist. Don't know what Garrett Wilson thinks. No, I don't. Just read.
But he is a mystic.
I was a year ahead of the Jamal Adams trade stuff, and I was like, I smell this coming a mile away.
Ryan's a volume shooter.
Dude, I've been
chucking them. They'll hit.
I don't know. I've been saying the Garrett Wilson thing for like a while now. Like I don't think he sees a second contract with us. I hope he does, but I don't think he will. Would love to be wrong on that one. Sky C says, the Pats' reaction to being soft and the Jets' reaction to being flat this past week will be interesting to see which team's style shows up. Thoughts? I would say them switching to, what's his name? Drake May might create enough of a spark to be interesting, but the Jets took care of business last time. And I think we should win, but I just don't trust our Jets to do it. Like, I trust that we're going to come out flat more than I trust the Patriots are going to come out flat. What do you think?
Yeah, they're all psyched up with their new kid, and he's looking good, and it's dangerous, man.
Yeah, I don't quite understand how the Jets are 7-point favorites in this game on the road after
because we beat the shit out of them. That's the only reason.
That's exactly it,
which is true, but a different quarterback at home, vibes completely different. I don't know. On paper, they should beat New England by 7, but based on what we've seen the last 4 weeks, I don't see how that's actually how it's going to play out. But I hope it does. I hope they prove us wrong and have a nice win.
Peter says Jets wanted Rodgers to be like Hobbs in The Natural, but they need the therapist. They had to come to the locker room and get everyone together. But they need the therapist. Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't know how we motivate people at this point. Like, there's just, it just feels like they're broken as much as we're broken. And to Green Bean's point earlier, talking about how these young players don't know what losing is when they come in, like that was the exciting part. Now they've been exposed to too much of the black cloud hanging over our heads that it's like you can feel it. He said, Bean said, Brees, you can see it hanging over his head. Garrett, you can see it hanging over his head. Like, you're gonna see these young players start to feel like it is hopeless, just like our fan base.
I mean, look, and even the guys that we bring in, like you go get Mecole Hardman. Not that he was gonna light the world on fire, but he comes here, he's a complete shitbag selling our secrets. And he goes back to KC and he gets the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. We get Mike Williams. We know what Mike Williams is. He's had a long career. He's fucking fantastic. He's here. We're like, get him out of here. He sucks. It's not him, dude. I'm just telling you. There's a reason we sent him a hot and delicious Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich. Okay? You know? Like, the injury was the concern, not the player. And all of a sudden now he can't run routes. What are we asking him to do? You know, like, look at what he's always done with a high level of success and say, hey, here's what you're going to do. What you do. How's that sound? The thing you do at one of the highest levels in the league, we're going to have you do that. How's that sound? Sounds good to me, coach. No, they go, hey, Mike Williams, we know you've never done this before. We're going to have you do all these complex fucking choice routes and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, I mean, we can kill anybody. Anybody who comes here, they're like, Tyron Smith. Guy's had 5 sacks in 5 years. Comes here, he has 5 sacks in 5 weeks. You think it's him? I don't know, man.
Feels very Jet-like, if you ask me.
Yeah, and then all the fucking offensive linemen we draft, Max Mitchell, Carter Warren, all these guys, and we give them to shitbag Keith Carter. Everybody hates him.
The coaching staff feels like the problem to me. I think that's, Bean said it earlier, none of us liked Carter. None of us liked Hackett. It was purely getting Rodgers. And if Rodgers can't overcome, like, poor coaching, and the rest of the team can't get hyped up because of bad coaching, what the fuck are we doing? Dante.
You guys remember the coach I wanted when we were doing Saleh? You remember? It's hard. I know. I don't, you know.
I don't remember.
Wink Martindale?
No.
Wink would have been good. I wanted
Greg
him
Roman.
as DC.
Oh,
Greg
okay.
Roman.
That's right.
Ravens.
Roman and Wink was kind of
But the guy I really wanted was Matt Campbell out of Iowa State. And he didn't want to leave college football. But if you said, come here, just give us 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here's $10 million for 5 years. He would have come. And that guy is that guy is for real, for real. And that's the kind of football coach that you need for the New York Jets. Somebody with balls, which is why I like Vrabel. Like Ben Johnson, fantastic, and what he's done, and that's all great from the offensive coordinator position. Another rookie coach going to get chewed up and swallowed by the maw that is the New York Jets. We need somebody that has a spine and a proven spine. You know, somebody that's prowled NFL sidelines and screamed and yelled at Bill Belichick across the side and outwitted him. That's what we need. You know what I mean?
Vrabel's the one that stands out to me as like, this guy is really smart. He is a guy that's going to get the correct coaches around him. Like, yeah,
and he's just a football player, Ryan. He's a, you know what I mean? He's like, football player. It's like, and that's the guys that he's going to want to bring in. And it's like, you know, I hate the fact that it's another defensive coach. Like, I really do want to embrace the offensive trend. But it's like, and I don't know, another rookie? How many fucking rookie coaches and GMs do we want? How about this? Let him draft a rookie quarterback and start him game one. Let's do that again.
Oh, that's exactly how we're planning it. Like, I like the little formula we're hoping to go for, where it was like, you know, Jordan Travis sits for a few years. You got Tyrod as a backup. You see if anything comes to fruition, and if not, then you'll just have a bottomed out season in 2026, and you draft a quarterback after that. But I don't know. It's going to be very, very tricky. Dante comes in and says, new chant, SELL, sell the team. Should send a message to Woody.
Yeah.
They won't even put what's his name, Fireman
Ed.
Ed up on the screen to do that. So how are we supposed to get a chant going?
That is bizarre to me that they're not putting him up there. I don't understand the logic. Like, are they just trying to get the fat deal from Cash App, like Green Bean was saying?
Yeah. Well, and it's weird. The backlash from fans is bizarre to me too.
Dude,
like, he quit on the team. He's a fan.
Split. Yeah.
What do you mean he quit? Dude, the guy's getting ridiculed all day in the stands. Like, we're yelling at him. Like, it's like, why should he have to deal with any bullshit? If everybody's going to yell at me when I'm here, I'm getting out of here for a few minutes. I would too. You wouldn't? If you go to games and people are yelling at you, and all he does, the whole thing he does, is he does the Jets chant. That's ours. Put him on the screen so we can do it in unison 4 or 5 times a game. And fucking call it a day. Why are we mucking this up? The fact that I don't like how he thinks he's more important. What do you mean you think have you ever spoken to the guy? I've met the guy numerous times and we've had him on the show. A fucking great guy, man. I met him when I was 19 years old. He was a sweetheart to me all the way back then. He hung out with me for 5 minutes and talked Jets football.
I've never had a bad experience with Ed.
Got to stick together. You know, he's a great guy, man.
Met Ed, I think 5 or 6 times. Always been nice. Always been a good dude. Like, I don't know what happens to the Jets. Like, if they're not going to show Ed on the screen, like, I remember the years of Ed not being here in the stadium and trying to listen to that Jet chant, and it was fucking terrible. They had random ass fans on each, like, attempt at it, and it was like, this looks clunky. Like, bad clunky.
It was still good, though. It was the dueling end zones. That's what it was. It was the dueling end zones. And they would get up, and so guys would bang the cowbells and the whistles, and the end zones would all stand up. It was good, but it was better. They just put him on the screen one day because he was down at the bottom.
Oh, so you're talking before Ed, like way before Ed.
Well, he was still doing it though. He was doing it like he was in the 100s. So we were like it started in the upper levels in the end zone. I mean, it started at Shea, but in Giant Stadium, it would go end zone to end zone, and it would go back and forth, and it was great. But then they said, and then he would do one on the bottom, and it was smaller, but it would you would hear it. And then one day they put him on the screen, and the whole stadium did it together, and it was magic. It was like, wow, now that's something. And we did it for 20 years. And then
do you remember the like 3 years or whatever it was where he was gone, where he's like, I'm done.
Oh, that was garbage.
They're terrible.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Every chant in that like little stretch there was hot. Now I've only ever known like Fireman Ed doing the chant, and like being a kid watching him go up on the screen, like that was like Pavlov's dog. I've seen him come up on the screen. I know what's about to happen, and like I get really excited, and everyone's amped up. Like I just don't see how you have that atmosphere without him there.
Right, and that's the thing. Like it's ours. If we want home field advantage, like that's one of the things that helps. It's like it gets the team excited. It's like a unifying thing. Like, why would we go against it? Like, even the fact, like, when he came back, they should have pushed the other guys aside. Having 3 guys on the stream try to do something in unison, there's delays and shit. It's weird.
It's like when the 3 of us try to do the Jet chant all at the same time, but the video feeds are slightly lacking and the sound doesn't quite work. It's like super clunky.
And you know too, because the stadiums are big. Like sound doesn't travel. Like light travels faster than sound. So you see things before you hear them, and it's like a weird thing in a stadium. You got 3 guys all over the fucking place, and it doesn't work like it used to work. It was so simple, you know. It was just so simple, and I don't know. I just think it's dumb what they're doing. Everything sucks with that.
Says Yankee Doodle Day.
Right.
West says, I honestly think we just overrate our roster. Sauce will get a massive contract, yet only plays the right side of the field. He's no certain. I don't know if it's one of those chicken or the egg type situations. Like, I would really like to see Sauce man up someone in a different defense because I think he's got the skill and talent to do it. Like, I don't think this current iteration of Sauce is the only style of football that he can play. Like, I think he can be that Surtain level, like follow the number one if we have a defense that's called that way. Matt, your thoughts?
The only legitimate gripe that you should have with Sauce Gardner is his tackling effort. There is like I don't. There's no reason to criticize Sauce Gardner in coverage. There's just not. They should move him around. The Jets not moving him around should not be an indictment on Sauce. It should be an indictment on them.
It would be nice to see Sauce get interceptions. Now maybe that comes with following the number one because there's more balls that are forced his way. But it feels like teams just avoid him for the most part, and he doesn't get the opportunity to get the interceptions. Like you almost don't want like too studly of a corner because you don't get those like baited opportunities to get the turnovers. It's kind of stupid to think that way, I guess, for me. But 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 says, "Damn Lions turned it. The Jets are floppy dongs." Yes. Floppy would imply big. We don't feel big. This feels like a cold weather, like you might pee on your balls type of thing. Douglas.
Well, it also could insinuate, though, Ryan, that that's the only option for the dong.
Yeah, that's true. Not
you know what I mean.
This team
perpetually floppy. You need help.
They make pills for that. Douglas comes in here, says, "Let's all pull our super chats and make Woody an offer." Dude, we could give every super chat for the entire life of these channels across all the Jet channels, and we couldn't buy a bucket for Woody Johnson to piss in. That's what would happen. He pisses in too expensive of a bucket. Michael Saunders, helping out the cause with $10, says, "This is the hypocrisy of Jets fans. If we hire Ben Johnson and he's not good, is that the GM's fault? Should the GM, whomever that might be, have hired some obscure coaching prospect?" So the issue, I think, with this particular take is that I don't think we've seen the young and up-and-coming offensive coach. We've seen Adam Gase. That's it. Everyone else has been an up-and-coming defensive-minded head coach. You're talking Rex Ryan. You're talking Todd Bowles. You're talking Robert Saleh, Mangini. Like, just go down the line. Like, I don't know when the last time we would have had, like, a young and up-and-coming offensive coach. I don't think it's really happened.
Nope.
Not since I've been watching. Green Bean, you can think of any times? Offensive-minded head coach was brought in here? Young offensive-minded
Well, there was only... Well,
Gase.
I tell you, for a long time, it's what we did. I mean, we did it all the way up until Parcells, really, because we had Pete Carroll for a year, but it was Kotite, Coslet, Joe Walton, Walt Michael. So, like, and that was a long stretch of time. They were all offense. And then we started this whole thing. Parcells, Belichick for 5 minutes, then Al Groh, then Herm Edwards, then Mangini, then Rex, then Todd Bowles. Then we had 2 years with Gase, and now here we are with Robert Saleh. So it's been... I mean, Kotite was
the last real swing we had. So the last real swing we had at an offensive coach, like if we want to omit Adam Gase from this equation, they had 96. Just reinstated or just put it, because free agency only just started around then, didn't it? 92? Is that accurate?
92 was free agency. Yeah, 1992.
So we had 3 years of offensive-minded head coach where they didn't quite know it. And then since the rookie salary cap has been put in place, we haven't had it at all. The game of football is wildly different from 30 years ago.
Different. Yeah, right.
So totally different.
And here I am, and I'm totally on board with getting an offensive-minded coach, yet here I am. If this shit doesn't turn around and we don't go on a run and a tear and get into playoffs where the season starts over, if we don't do that, I am pining for Vrabel.
Well, that's different because I don't think we've had a legitimate coach that has been a head coach in a long probably since Parcells, right? I think that's the last time.
Well, it was right. Well, Gase was, but he was run out of Miami.
Yeah.
So like even though Vrabel was fired too, but it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gase was positively run out of Miami. You know what I mean?
Vrabel was like a surprising fire. Like I would either go the young offensive-minded head coach or the established second time around head coach, like a Stefanski, like Brian Flores, like Vrabel, like any one of those three, I would be kind of okay with to some degree, to varying degrees. I would say Vrabel would be one for me, Stefanski would be two, or flip flop those.
Yeah.
Flores would probably be below the offensive minded head coaches for me, but would still fall somewhere in the like acceptable range.
Yeah. WM says Vrabel won Coach of the year before he was fired. I don't know if it was that year, but I mean, Vrabel again. We were all like, "What?"
I wonder do you think he had any say in like the AJ Brown trade? Is that why that whole regime kind of got like turned upside down? Like, would that have been the catalyst, or just like we just need to try something new at this point because it hasn't worked out? Like, I don't really understand why Vrabel was fired. I feel like I need to talk to some Titans fans.
Yeah, I think it was more they kind of were in a bit of a transition. It felt like, Tannehill got hurt the last 2 years and they were losing teams and out of the playoffs. And it's like, all right, we're going to kind of reset this. And he was, I guess, the scapegoat in a way.
Quasimodo says, hope we don't match the Giants' longest playoff drought of 17 years, 1964 to 1980. God damn. Sure feels like if we don't get in this year and Rodgers hangs it up, it's going to be real close.
We're close.
H-Town Jets says, Bean, I'm still sprawling. Think I'm done watching.
Spiraling.
What did I say?
I know. H-Town, he was trying. He was.
Did I not say spiraling?
Spiraling.
What did I say?
Yeah. Sprawling.
Sprawling. Spiraling. Words are
yeah,
hard.
he was trying. It was funny. He was negative first. Like he was one of the earliest negatives, and I kept saying, "Relax, man. We're down 2 points, whatever it was." And then slowly, as the stream went on, he's like, "Is it okay to lose my shit yet?" You know what I mean, like that kind of a thing. So yeah, that was funny.
Douglas says Arch Manning is going to play a 5th year of eligibility to avoid being drafted by the Jets. Uncle Peyton and Eli will make sure of it. Yeah, there's no shot he's going to be a Jet. No shot.
Archie? Oh, yeah.
Arch Manning not going to become a Jet. Dante, would you want McCarthy?
Nope.
Mike McCarthy? Yeah. Not really. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Rodgers,
they were really good. They were really close. Keep Aaron Rodgers and bring in Mike McCarthy.
That sounds like a winning formula.
Yeah, it's 2012 all over again.
Oh, damn it. All right, boys and girls, let's get 5 more likes on this video. We're going to get another qualifier to go into the spin wheel. 53% of you guys say Jets fans are suckers. We have nearly 600 votes.
That's unfortunate.
Hector says, let's put Matt at head coach, Green Bean at DC, Ryan at OC, and we're going to the Super Bowl.
Now we're thinking.
We're cooking with fire. I like it.
I want to be the GM.
I could be like a cap guy. I feel like OC, I probably want to have like, I could work on the contracts. I'll make the money work.
Yeah, there you go. I'm in.
How many we got tonight, Green Bean?
Let me get one more qualifier, and that'll bring it to 57. Let's see who it is. Let's see who the final one is for this list for tonight. The Freedom House. All right. You are the last qualifier for the night.
All right.
That's 57, Ryan.
57. Oh, we just got some more in here.
My screen.
Oh,
black?
look at these guys.
What is happening here?
What? Oh,
my screen black?
No, I hit a button.
It's like,
plugged in.
Something wrong? Did I do something here?
What did I do? Jesus Jerry Vodka says we've tried every combo: young coach, old coach, young coach, vet quarterback, rookie quarterback. This is a crescendo and monumental cumulative collection of shithousery over 20 years. that is like everything I could possibly say in one concise super chat. Thank you, Jesus. O'Leary's head coach. I kind of like that, says Dante.
Me too. I like it too.
I do too.
Whip him into shape.
Get the people going. All right. So, Bean, am I correct in saying we are at 59 then?
59, buddy.
59, feeling fine. All right. We're going to pick the 5th person that winds up going through this simulator. So, this is the first try at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This next one is going to be the winner for tonight. Number 39, Green Bean. 39.
39 is John Follansby.
Ooh, John Follansby. Let's see what you get. Let's make the pillow, since I didn't update the slide. Any of the pillow slices is going to be a 𝐑𝐻𝐽𝐽 jersey. We'll do that.
I love it. Here we go. Come on, pillow.
Ooh,
Oh,
gonna be a shirt. All right. Was it John? John Follansby?
Follansby. Yeah.
John Follansby. Reach out to jetstalk247@gmail.com or talkinjetshow@gmail.com. Let's get your shirt size and your shipping information. We'll send you out a t-shirt from the store. Reach out to us. Thank you so much for playing. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 because this team has given us all flat tires. We've reached the end of our show. Let's go around our table, our panel, or whatever this thing is called, and give our closing thoughts. Green Bean, what do you got to say?
Yeah, well, we're going to keep the positive vibes going. 10:35 on Green Bean Jets Fan for the After Hours show. I hope you guys will come and hang out. We'll have some fun.
Matt, what you got going on?
Just Jets tomorrow. It's a vent session episode. So if you're into that kind of thing, tune in. Coverage on the channel throughout. We'll be back.
Yeah. Exciting. We're going to turn around. It only starts with one game. I don't care about the rest of the season. I care about the game against the Patriots. Let's go 1-0 this week. Let's make that happen. Then we worry about the week after that.
That's right. 2-0 versus the Pats. Three consecutive wins against New England. That'd be great.
We got it. It's going to happen. Win streaks start with one win. This is Talkin Jets. Signing off. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pouch. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it is that people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head. No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family. Hit those milk duns, boys and girls.
Freeze front.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.